you this. Like, how do you get to know this guy, Daniel? I forgot his name.
Daniel,
Daniel Murray. Like, how do you get in touch with him?
Daniel Bernas, or
Oh,
the maker, the Khukri
the
maker.
maker, the maker, the
Oh,
maker.
he's a friend of the guy who's supplying the Khukris, the Scottish guy.
I mean, how do you come into contact with these Scottish?
Oh,
Because his wife is a Filipina.
actually, he's been commenting on my posts on
Oh,
like how we met.
oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of guys are chatting me, and sometimes when I get interested, like how we talk, it gets
Mhm.
longer, you know.
Okay, okay, okay.
So,
So, I gotta know about this. I gotta know about him,
okay,
and he's been trying out several cookies from different makers,
okay,
and you can see that whenever he ordered those blades, they are very they are very fancy,
uh
and
huh,
they always have Viking elements in it. You can see, like, those snakes where Viking sites, dragons, snakes. Some of those icons, when you look at it, and then, like, when you say it's Scottish, then okay, it makes all the sense. It makes all the
okay.
sense.
So, shall we start?
Yeah,
Okay, let me just fix this.
I
I'm sorry,
actually have.
it's my first time. Wow, that's the your favorite one, the top
Uh,
one or the top three?
it's one of the top three in a way, but it's just that because this one, you can see that the sheath is very different
Uh-huh.
because I had it made before. But this is a traditional blade that has been rehandled.
Oh.
It has been rehandled, and this one is actually a kydex.
Uh-huh.
So they made it two-piece. So I used to carry it like this, carry on my waist, and then there's another piece that holds onto it, so it's stable, and it's an open sheath on here.
Wow.
So that's how it looks like.
Wow.
And that's how it looks like. So you can see here, this is the Cloudy, very common, very very simple Cloudy,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see that the sort of Shiva in here,
Uh-huh.
and this one actually has a hollow grind. So this one is that there is actually a slight curve in here.
Yeah,
So
like the Indonesian blades, that they hollow their
yes,
blades. Yeah.
so it hollows out around here, and what makes it such a good chopping cookery is because you can see that the bevel height here,
Uh-huh.
it's about almost half of it, so it penetrates quite deep.
Oh.
And this blade initially, when it came, it was about this length only, because the Nepalese, they are not known to be big. They're small people, so that the hands are
Mm.
quite small.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came, and then eventually the handle, I don't like it. So I basically, the handle was it's changed, and you can see that this one is actually a hidden tank. So the
Uh-huh.
tank is somewhere around here. So this entire thing is hidden.
Uh-huh.
So it looks like it's a partial tank, but this one goes all the way to here, and then there's a nut in here, and then they weld it, and then
Uh-huh.
the maker seal off this part here.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's a bit like MK1, the
Uh-huh.
military kukri one, but you can actually see a screw. But this one, he covered the entire thing. So the,
Amazing.
the tank the tank goes all the way. I mean, the tank goes all the way until somewhere around here, I think. And then he has a nut, and then he welded this entire thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then it comes up here, and then he glued the entire thing. But first time when I actually chop with it, I can actually I can see there are some there's some impact. Hence, this part here it has some very tiny crack. That's not that it doesn't matter
Uh-huh.
for me because I tested it quite a few times. And this wood is actually a local wood. We call it juha. So
Mm-hmm.
it has a very it's not something that stand out, but it's very tough. And what I like about the kukri is always this ring here.
Uh-huh.
So when you hold it, it's not
Oh.
coming up.
Yeah, it locks
So
on your
it
finger.
locks. Yeah, it locks onto your finger, and it's always in this. We talk about this. It's not round. It's always on this oval shape. So when you hold on to it, it's not coming up.
Oh. So,
Yep.
so that's all cookies have that.
Most kukris, all kukris have this. All
Ring,
kukris
the
have
ring.
this.
Yeah.
The ring. The new ones, like for example, the one from United Kingdom,
Uh-huh.
some of them they like it smooth.
Uh-huh.
They like it smooth, and those are not really the actual one.
Oh.
Those are the one from, like for example, the one that you show me just now.
Uh-huh.
Why it hasn't got a karda and a chuck mark is because those are the one for the officers, the
Oh.
higher.
It's like a luxurious type.
Yes, you're correct. They are made for the officers because
Mm-hmm.
officers they are just with the uniform and then they just have a kukri like standard. At least I have a standard knife with me, but
Uh-huh.
they don't need the karda and chakma because they are not out there doing the work. So they are always walking around, in the office, go to the field, but they're not doing much work. So most of their kukris are decorated. We
Uh-huh.
will call it decorated, and they're always very shiny. And like for example, this one is actually this one is a workhorse. So you can see that this one, this one when you look at this, when this first came out, nobody knows what it is, but because this thing chops so well,
Uh-huh.
everybody's like, "Wow, I want this." But it's actually a butcher's kukri.
Oh.
It's used by the butchers. So I think one day someone must have found it and say, "Wow, this thing chops very well." So
Uh-huh.
it came out of nowhere. Like you go to some market in the Philippines and then they were using this and then wow, this is good. Then
Mm-hmm.
out of nowhere that blade becomes very popular.
Okay, but first, let me introduce you. That's just the intro. So,
Okay. There's a lot of
what
yapping.
the reason why we're doing this is I have a blade coming in. It's actually being lent to us for us to review.
Mm.
So, Sir Diwa is he's been chatting me for some time now, and he's gonna send us two of his entry levels or mid level range kukris. So me
Mm-hmm.
being actually I'm not a purist. I also look at other blades. It's not like a sin, you know. I also look at other
No, no,
nation
it's okay.
blades.
I
Yeah.
understand that. I understand.
So right now, I'm not really an expert with cookery, so uh,
Okay.
I, I, I tried asking you to be here. So Jay is my friend. That is, we've been chatting for some time now too. So Jay, can you please introduce yourself?
Oh, okay. Hello, Mabuhay, and selamat datang in a way. So I'm Jay. I'm from Malaysia. So I'm from the Penang state, and AJ and I have been talking for quite some time, and we both are hopeless like nuts, and um, particularly because how I spoke to AJ because I first came across AJ's YouTube videos, and he made a lot of fantastic uh, reviews on knives. And no, yes, I pick up a lot of information from him, and especially on like for example the Hinalung, the Palais from the Cordillera from the Ifugao tribe. And also, AJ shared with me a lot of blades from his hometown in Rizal.
Yes.
and also Laguna type. And he also introduced me to Kuya Tony Lotivo. So those are the blades that's very interesting, and I look forward to share more information with AJ. But the reason why I'm here today is I have been collecting kukris, and uh, I'm still learning. Actually, I'm still learning. So um, for the last 10 years, I've been studying a bit about kukris and trying to get acquainted with some of the collectors from all around the world. There are some of the names worth mention here will be VK Kunwar from Krishna Kunwar from Killer Tools, who is also the boss of Heritage Knives, and Jonathan Said, aka Spiral Twister, who is also the moderator for International IKRHS, IKRHS, hold on, International Kukri Research, and I don't remember the H, and then S is a society. So both Krishna and Jonathan, they are moderators, and they are very well versed in the actual specimen of the kukri itself. So I get to learn a lot from them. It's just like how I get to learn from you and
Uh-huh.
Sir Ryan Castro
You
and
you
JC.
really like studying.
I like to learn about if I'm into something else, like for
Uh-huh.
example, in the kukris, I like to understand why it was made this way,
Uh-huh.
and the cultures. I think that the cultures that come along with it,
Uh-huh.
and those are the one that when you look at it, you understand. Oh, so that was the reason why they put this in there, and there was the reason why they made it in such a way.
Yeah.
Why is it this shape? So I actually the image of kukri, it first started. It came from a false image of a local Boy Scout. It was a picture of a local Boy Scout with a curved knife.
Okay.
So I first came across that picture when I was a Boy Scout, and I
Okay,
was
you're talking about how you saw the cookery for the first time.
uh, I thought I saw a kukri,
Okay,
but
okay,
it was not a kukri.
okay,
I thought I saw a kukri. It was a Boy Scout. I think the picture of that knife has been tweaked in such a way that it has a curve.
okay,
And I never seen a curved blade before.
okay,
So I kept asking, and then the people say, oh, the people who carry this are usually from the northern India. So I had from when I was small, I always had this impression that whoever carried this knife, they are sick. But as I keep studying, I realized that, oh, this is actually a knife that is carried by the warrior caste of Nepal, and they were also known as the Gorkha.
okay,
So this is where I will start going into the history of the kukri itself.
okay,
So according to the history, there are many versions of how the shape kukri comes in. You have the Makaira, you have got the Falcata, you have got the Spanish Falcata, and there are few out there in the museums. They even said that when Alexander the Great, he trying to invade India, it was him who already has that curved like sword, and it was people back then in India, when they saw how effective it was in the war, they copied that. But there are also the other saying that Alexander the Great copied that sword from India. So there's no there's not a very clear source where it came from. But there are records. Like for example, lately I know about the Dacian and also the Sika from the Iberia, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you can actually see the shape of the curve. It's a bit like sickle, but it's a straightened sickle.
Okay.
So the moment when it strikes, it's like it goes in and it curves.
Okay.
So some people, some say that even myself, as a user, I see it as that a kukri is basically a knife and
Uh-huh.
also an axe in one go, because
Okay.
when it goes like, maybe if I demonstrate from here, because when it goes, the curve itself, it wants to go down,
Okay.
it wants to go down, so it wants to come down. Some people even said that the kukri is a bit like the um, what do you call that? That there's this boomerang. It's like a boomerang
Oh.
of from Australia, because boomerang is like this shape,
Yeah.
so it curves. So it tends to and anything that comes in the way, in a way, sometimes I do think is a bit like ginuting,
Uh-huh.
because it curves
It
like
curves
something
down.
like this.
Yeah.
So it curves down, it cuts everything in the way. But ginuting is sharp at the end, and the kukri, it has got the some of the it has a bit of width. It has a bit of width. So as you come down, it has that weight that comes down with it. But there are also Sirupati where a lot of the Gurkhas, they like it because it's very light.
I
It's very
see.
light and fast.
Okay.
So that's about it. And regarding the name Gurkha itself, some have said that it came from the state of Gorkha.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a state of Gorkha
In
in
Nepal.
Nepal.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a state of Gorkha in Nepal. They are also saying that there is a god, that there is a saint that lives in the cave back then. He goes by the name of Guru Borana. So
Okay.
a lot of them were worshiping him, and it goes after that eventually he developed a steady followers, which eventually formed the Nepal that we know this. I mean today.
I see.
One of my top three being that the because I've been using it,
Uh-huh.
and I've been using it, and I would say that I went from don't like it at all, because this is a this is not a beautiful cookery. I should say it's not fancy.
Uh-huh.
It's not
Pointy.
pointy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not pointy. So it's a very common looking blade,
Uh-huh.
and when I first saw it, I like I don't like this. But as I'm using it, my first one was actually a 12-inch bone cutter. The reason why they call it bone cutter, there is a reason,
Okay.
because it was used to cut bones. So it
Oh,
was a
literally.
Yes, it was used to cut bone. So when I had the smaller version, I couldn't believe my eyes, because when I used that versus the bigger kukri,
Mm-hmm.
this one chopped as well as the other one. So I said, cannot be. This 12-inch, how can it cut so well? Because actually the way how they made this in such a way that most of the kukris, it has got a very small sweet spot. That reason why I say it's like an axe is because if you look at this part here, where it's supposed to curve down, right?
Uh-huh.
This one is actually the sweet spot.
Oh, that you mean that's where all the power goes when
Yes,
you're hitting something.
correct,
Okay.
correct. When it goes down, this is where the curve, when it start to come down,
Uh-huh.
this is the sweet spot.
Okay.
Okay, that one is valid if your kukri has got a very pointy one. So that
Oh.
means your sweet spot is only this one,
Okay.
but the sweet spot for this is the entire thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's because it's going down. It's heavy.
Yes, yes. So for this one, the sweet spot is this large. Is this large instead of only here.
Okay.
So therefore, this one, it feels a bit like the parang, because parang has a big sweet spot. So
Uh-huh.
this one, as you go down, it gives you a lot of this power.
Uh-huh.
And of course, this is a distal taper.
Wow, that's thick. How
Yeah,
thick is that?
it is thick. It is thick.
How thick is
But
that?
this one is about 1.5. This is about, I think this is about 10 to 12 mm.
Oh, mama. I'll show Sir Ryan.
10 to 12 mm.
That's a thick blade.
Yeah, you can. I'll just put my finger. course,
Uh-huh.
then you know. So,
Yeah.
but the thing about this is it doesn't feel that heavy.
Ooh.
It doesn't feel that heavy because you see,
It's a distal.
I can do this very well because the thing is it has got a bit of hold on a second, let me see if I can find. I'm not sure if this is captured in here.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if this is captured in here. I'm not sure if you can see the hollow. That's where I can see
Oh
the hollow
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. I can see it.
Yeah, that's where you can see
It's
that.
hollow.
That's
Yeah.
the hollow. So the hollow where it goes into that, it relieves that. So you can see that you can feel that there's a hollow here. But and the hollow is always around here.
Okay.
So as you go deep into this, that means this one is very high, so it penetrates deep, and then this one it gives you the relief. So
Okay.
as it goes in, it opens up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I imagine that it's a good slicer also.
Yes, it can be a good slicer.
Mm.
If you sharpen this part, particular this part here,
Uh-huh.
well enough. Actually, this is one of my bone cutter. The other bone cutter that I saw off ate me before.
What?
Yeah, it ate me before when I was sharpening. It ate me, and it was a very deep
So how
cut.
do you sharpen your kukri? Is it razor sharp or
Not entirely because for a kukri to be razor sharp, it's very dangerous.
okay?
It's pretty dangerous. I mean, of course, depends on how you use it. If you require your blade to be razor sharp, for
Uh-huh.
me, a razor sharp blade is safer than a blade that is not sharp because you have an idea that it's not sharp, then you go ahead and then you cut yourself.
Okay.
So for me, is that because the power of this is so much like an axe, it
Uh-huh.
comes down, and you really don't need that razor sharp to.
Speaking of sharpening, the shape of the kukri is a bit different. So, is it harder to sharpen a kukri than a regular bolo or
Yes,
a parang?
yes. Um, Particularly if you have a very small sweet spot here, it's not so easy to sharpen. So most of the time, what I do is I sharpen it this way. Most of the
Oh, okay,
people what they
okay.
do is they sharpen it this way, and as long as you can maintain that edge, and then I just drop it, so you have that edge already. I can get this to be extremely sharp,
Uh-huh.
but for what I do is that some people that what they would like is they like it to be like if we make this like normal blade, it will be like this.
Uh-huh.
It will
Yeah.
be like this.
V, a bit
But
the V grind.
yeah, the V grind. But because you want this kukri to be tougher, so you want it a convex.
Convex, yeah, yeah.
So
That's why you called it bone crusher.
yeah,
Yeah.
the wood cutter. So
Usually they use that convex for bone
yeah, they
crushers.
use that convex. So I think once you sharpen to that V, what you do is as you stop it in such a way that the V here it becomes smooth.
Uh-huh.
So you have that. But some people what they do is they like it this way. But for bone cutter itself, you don't need that because the edge itself is so thick.
I see.
Yeah.
So you have two more for your top three.
I have,
What are those?
I have two more. One is the Kailash blade.
Uh-huh.
It's a special type of kukris. It's very similar to the Dui Chira that you showed me, but I only want one Chira. That means it's very similar to this blade. It's very similar to this blade, but the belly is quite big. It's
I see.
about I'm not sure if I don't think it's 3 inches wide, but it's quite big and it's pointy, and the hollow here is even deeper.
I see.
It's
Okay.
even deeper. But the handle is made from micarta handle. It's a synthetic handle,
Uh-huh.
but it's made from sari.
Oh, the textile? A textile?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
It's made from sari, and Kailash blade. Actually, the person behind the boss behind Kailash blades, they are from Nepal. Andrew from Australia, who used to work in Khukri house,
Okay.
and I think another guy. I think his name is Vishnu. So
Okay.
Vishnu Andrew is the designer.
Okay.
Vishnu is the store man that monitors all the work behind.
Okay.
So what I like about Kailash is that they use modern technique for older blades. Their website also has new blades and traditional blade. So you can go for customs. That's where Daniel got his customs, and you can also go for traditional design.
Okay.
So my second favorite blade is it's a Sirupat. It's a Sirupati, but basically it's a Chempuri. Okay, so I'm
Okay.
going to I'm going to
Okay.
I'm going to confuse you with some of the
The
term here.
terms. Okay.
Yeah. So a Sirupati is a long leaf. So it's a long
Oh,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You see, most of them will be using it. That's the Sirupati. But in the world of Sirupati, it's a bit like if we talk about okay, like if I talk about bolo, inside bolo you have got different types of bolo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so in the world of Sirupati, you have got Chitlangi.
Okay.
Chitlangi, it's a shape that has got a very special kaudi.
Okay.
Has got a very special kaudi. So that kaudi itself, it will tell you the kaudi is not exposed like this. It's inside here. It's like a circle.
Yeah.
But inside here you have got some. So that's a Chitlangi. So Chitlangi is usually very fancy.
Okay.
It's made for tourists actually, but there are some that can be very good, and the one that I go for is the one called the Chempuri.
Uh-huh.
The Chempuri, it has the profile of a Sirupati, but it has a big butt. It has a big butt in here. So
Big butt. Me like
yes, a
it.
big butt. The reason why it has a big butt is because
Uh-huh.
when you swing it because of the weight of the butt itself, it's stopping you from going over and cut yourself. So if you want to cut, yes, you're correct. So when you swing it very fast, it counters it. But this particular one by Heritage Knife, which is from Krishna, it was one day when I showed him about chimpuri that I like, and he developed it based on what I have asked him. And I also asked him, "Do you think you can make one in aluminum handles?" So he made one in aluminum handles. So the one that I have shown you before, those are the one that is a special one made for what I requested. Because the one that I asked for is a 6-inch handle.
Is it with you? The aluminum one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not.
Not
It's
there. It's here in your
not
house.
there. Yeah, it's in my house,
Okay.
but I
Send,
can
send
send
me
you.
a picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's he called it the shaman's sirupate because
Uh-huh.
in the eastern part of Nepal,
Uh-huh.
there is a tribe by the name of Kirati, Kirati, Kirati.
Okay.
So this Kirati tribe, they are also from the warrior caste,
Uh-huh.
and apparently this one has superpower. It has superpower, as in the shamans use it to ward off the evil.
Oh, it's like it's similar to our culture. The from our culture in the Philippines, we also have that we believe that the bolo can ward off evil spirits.
Oh, okay.
It's similar.
Okay. So why I like about that blade is because that blade, which I think you have seen before, it's a very fast blade, and it's
Uh-huh.
very light.
Uh-huh.
And of course, this is something that in a way something that I developed with Krishna.
Uh-huh.
So he came out with it. So I think it's quite special because it's something that based on my input. So
Okay.
those are the top trees. But of course, I have a lot of special kukris. Like there's one that is still what I like the most. It's not a kukri, but it's a kukri looking object. We call it KLO. So it's a model that was made for the Chindit operations back in Burma. So I
Okay.
think it must be the British at that time. They already have the Gurkhas, but
Okay.
they also have this Chindit team, which they said to be the first special forces in the world, the first one.
Okay.
So the Chindit has a logo of a lion,
Uh-huh.
and their operation is to stop the Japanese invasion in Burma.
Okay.
So they sent a group down they sent a group down together with some of the resistant group in Burma at that time to fight the Japanese.
Okay.
So they have to supply these soldiers with a knife.
Okay.
So they chose this particular shape that looks like a
A
kukri,
cookery,
but
yeah.
it's not a kukri. I will show you I will
Okay,
send you
send
the
me a
picture.
picture, yeah.
Yes,
That's
it's
interesting because I think there was also an American version of a bolo that was patterned on a Filipino blade. Let me just check and I'll show it to you.
yes, yes. So this one is special in a way that because I'm surprised, but because this blade is very heavy. It's
Okay.
very heavy, particular for people who has to carry heavy coats,
Yeah.
rifles, backpack, and then they have to walk around.
Uh-huh.
But that blade, when I see it, it reminds me of the tribal side of the blade. It has a big belly and it's very pointy.
Okay.
So when you look at it, you know right away this is a weapon. But the weird thing is that it's too heavy for a weapon. But it's
Interesting.
a very how do you call it? It's a very tough blade. That's all I can
Okay.
say.
Maybe it was hastily designed to
Yes,
so that just they can supply it.
yes, and it was made in India back in 1927.
Okay. So right now, when I'm looking at kukris, they all look the same. But
They
thanks
all
to you, yeah. So thanks to you, I'm having the idea of how the kukris differs. So I don't have the blades yet. So uh, thank you for giving me the insight,
Mhm.
and let's do this again next time, maybe.
Okay, no
thank
problem.
you for
No
thank
problem.
you
Okay,
for
bye.
giving me
Thanks.
time.
No problem. Bye bye.
okay, thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Okay. Bye bye.